What's up, all you Minties? This is the Uncanny Omar from Near Mint Condition, and join me today for an advanced look at the Marvel Masterworks Uncanny X-Men Volume 13 hardcover. So, please stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody. Before getting started, a huge thank you to David Gabriel and the fine folks at Marvel for sending us an advanced copy of this Marvel Masterworks. This Marvel Masterwork is due out in the direct market on June 23rd, and then a couple of weeks later in the book market. So what we're looking at here is the direct market cover, the variant, and then the standard edition is on your left-hand side. So if you do get these, let me know which covers you get. Now, here it is, Uncanny X-Men Volume 13, or Volume 308 of the Marvel Masterworks. They are hardcover editions, and beautiful restored artwork in here. So let's look at it under the dust jacket. You got that leather look to it with the Uncanny X-Men logo. Foil stamp here, Marvel Uncanny X-Men 13, and then nothing in the back. Now, if you've been wondering about the Marvel Masterwork line, these are the size of a standard edition trade paperback. It's just in hardcover format, so something to keep in mind. They're not as tall as oversized hardcovers or as omnis. Let's get this open and talk a little bit about here and then do some comparison to some previous releases. So here we have Uncanny X-Men Volume 13 of the Marvel Masterworks line. Crazy how far we've gotten. I used to have the first 5-6 volumes of these, and then when the Omnis started coming out, I decided to go that route. I think I've told that story over and over, but in case you're new to the channel, that's why I don't have that many Marvel Masterworks left. So here is an introduction by the phenomenal Chris Claremont. I love that they have introductions for each one of these. And kicking off with the classic Uncanny X-Men 201, the battle between Storm and Cyclops, a depowered Storm. One of the biggest, most amazing issues in the history of Uncanny X-Men. For the leadership of the X-Men, both of them must fight. So this collects Uncanny X-Men 201 to 209, the Long Shot miniseries, which was 6 issues, and then material from Marvel Fanfare number 33. So you have artwork in here from Rick Leonardi, you have John Romita Jr., and of course all of this written by the phenomenal Chris Claremont, and actually Ann Nocenti writing the Long Shot series. Here's Phoenix, Rachel, just showcasing some of the artwork. It's crazy, and I mean crazy, that we are about to hit the Mutant Massacre, the very first X-Men event. That's insane to me. That the Marvel Masterworks, not insane, maybe it's just making me feel old, that these things regarded as the classic collected editions, these have been coming out since the late 80s, so that's something to keep in mind. So it's crazy to think that we are about to hit a milestone like the Mutant Massacre, and how it's going to be collected. This is the Beyonder storyline here, the Nightcrawler one-shot story from 204, and one of my favorite issues of all time, 205 right here. Oh my gosh, Barry Windsor Smith, the first, reappearance of Lady Deathstrike in her new form. Such brutality. We'll go back to that because I need to make a comparison with the previous releases. And some more John Romita Jr. artwork. Now, if you want to know why, for example, Rachel Summers, Phoenix, was not in the Mutant Massacre, that is all explained here. It's kind of messed up, honestly, and it has something to do with Wolverine just going berserk. It's got the appearance of Nimrod here, and of course Nimrod playing a huge part in the House and Powers of X. And here we have wonderful artwork by Arthur Adams, who will be on the channel on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if you want to join us for a live interview. This written by Ann Nocenti, and then inks by Whilce Portacio. Whilce Portacio providing a lot of the inks here. So this was a heck of a team up. So the artwork has been fully restored and touched up. So that is one of the things I always like to mention about the Marvel Masterworks line, is that this is the definitive way of restoration for artwork. So when a lot of people are like, wait, what do you mean? Isn't the artwork in the omnibus oversized? Yes, but a lot of the hard work that goes into restoring the art comes here in the form of these Marvel Masterworks. That's why sometimes, for the example, the case of the Jack Kirby, Stan Lee Fantastic Four Omnibus Volume 2, they're using the newer masters from the Masterworks line. So the artwork is going to be looking better and more defined, if you will. And just look at the amount of detail that he did. Like, this, I love his art style. I'm a huge fan of his. He brought over that anime style to America, and then this is the story from Marvel Fanfare. And as far as the extras in the back, there's a lot of those, including articles and interviews. Here is the original Longshot series. This is the breakdown of what Longshot was originally supposed to be, and then the Arthur Adams designs for the characters that show up in Longshot. Very, very awesome to have it all here. Now, if you're waiting for Uncanny X-Men Omnibus Volume 5, we still don't have any word of that. I don't know when. I think if I were to guess, the earliest it would be 2023. Just because this came out this year, and we still don't know exactly how they're going to map it, whether they're going to include early issues of X-Factor, or whether they're just going to keep it Uncanny X-Men, whether there's going to be two between Uncanny X-Men Omnibus Volume 4 and Mutant Massacre. Man, there is a lot of extras in here. There's the cover to the original trade paperback. I used to have that thing. Here's the cover to the trade paperback of Ghost, which I'll be doing a comparison to. The back cover, the Marvel premiere of Longshot, which I'll be doing a comparison. And then always the biographies that they keep in the back of all the Marvel Masterworks. So the book retails for $100, and it has 496 pages. Now, let's do a comparison, because as I was talking about, when they go back and do these, they touch up the artwork, and they just make it look as nice as possible. And it's also printed in this thick, glossy paper. So let's look, for example, at issue 205. Issue 205 has been collected before in different formats, but let's look at it in this Ghost trade paperback. Okay, we're looking at the cover because they are on opposite sides. You can tell this here is closer to the original comic than this here, which it just has like a purple reddish tint to it. Not that it's bad or horrible by any means, but just looks different. I'm just going to compare a few pages. The Marvel Masterworks here on the left, and then on the right hand side, the trade paperback of Ghost. Now, they use the same scans for the Power Pack Omnibus, which I'll get out here in a second. So, not much difference, really. You know, very, very small differences. The color tones that they use, just a little bit brighter here. Like the blue stands out a lot more. It pops out more, rather. And the characters here of Reese, Cole, and Malcolm, they've got a different tone of color on their outfits than they do here in the trade paperback version. And of course I had to compare these pages, because this is one of my favorite pages here by Barry Windsor-Smith. All of this, by the way, done by Barry Windsor-Smith. The colors, the inks, well, not the story, that is Chris Claremont. And the letters are done by somebody else. But anyway, I did want to compare this so you can see the colors here. See, the blue just stands out a lot more here in the Marvel Masterworks. And you can tell here in the trade paperback, the color tones here are a lot more duller, whereas here they almost come to life. Now, let's look at the same page in the Power Pack Omnibus Volume 1. So the same thing. The Masterwork, the colors just pop out more, whereas here the colors seem a little more dull. Not that big of a difference, but, you know, this is truer to what the original art looks like. And the other thing to note, too, is that the amount of detail when it comes to the inks and the cross-hatching. You can tell here, like on the belly, there are a lot more defined lines than they are here. So this is what I mean by when they touch up the artwork and they make it better than it's been collected before. This is what the Masterworks line are all about. Let's do just a couple more pages of comparisons. Here we go. Let's look at this fight really quick. The colors again in the Marvel Masterworks, a lot different than the colors that they use here in the background for the Omnibus edition. The lines here in the inks are a lot more defined, just looking at this part right here, than the lines here under his arm. And that is not a deal breaker. It's not a huge deal to a lot of people. Really, not a lot of us notice things like that. But it is something that I did want to point out when I say that this is the cream of the crop. This is as good as it gets when it comes to collected editions, and that is one of the reasons why. So, I'm hoping that when we do get... Let's look at this page. Man, just full of rage and brutality. I'm hoping, what I was saying is, when we do get an announcement of an Uncanny Omnibus Volume 5, they use the most modern scans for it. That would be awesome. But just a quick little difference here. And then I am going to compare it to the long shot. I have the Marvel Premiere Edition, this right here. Let's look at just a couple pages. Alright, I picked out a couple of pages that take place at night and in this water area. Again, the blues stand out a lot more. The greens have a lot more of a blue tone to them, like it's nighttime, than these here do in the Marvel Premiere Edition. There's certainly more shadows in the faces here than there are in the Marvel Premiere Edition. This is one of my favorite scenes. These are some of the characters that do appear in Ann Nocenti's Daredevil, but I just wanted to do a quick comparison here on what it looks like from the Marvel Premiere here to the Marvel Masterwork. You can tell the differences here in the colors that they're using. Then here's the Marvel Masterwork and the Marvel Premiere. Again, the differences being the color tones that they use. And really quickly, just one more page here with Mojo and Ricochet Rita. See, you can tell a little bit more depth here with Mojo's eyes than you can over here, because the colors here are a lot lighter than here in these darker tones. Your spirals, the back of her body. The inks are a little heavier here, a little more defined than they are over here in the Marvel Premiere Edition. Again, not that big of a deal, you know. I don't think most people notice things like that, but I did want to point it out. And that, as they say, is that. If you are interested in purchasing this book, don't forget to check out our sponsor, cheapgraphicnovels.com, your online source for collected editions up to 50% off retail price. Cheap Graphic Novels prides itself on excellent packaging, so your stuff gets to you in excellent condition, and they have amazing customer service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And for all you Minties that are watching, if you're a first-time customer, don't forget to mention that Near Mint Condition sent you their way for a promotional credit on free shipping on your next order. Now, this is only for U.S. customers. CheapGraphicNovels.com, your source for the hottest books with deep discounts, customer service, and excellent shipping that will keep you coming back for more. And that was the content, the page count, and the build of this Marvel Masterworks. Let me know in the comments down below, first of all, if you have all the X-Men Marvel Masterworks. I had so many of them at one time. If you still collect the Marvel Masterworks line, which lines do you get? If you're hoping one day all of this will be collected in an Uncanny X-Men Volume 5 Omnibus, I would love to know all those comments down below, and if you have any more questions, leave those down below as well. Again, this was the Uncanny Omar. Thank you all so much for watching. We are on Patreon and on Spreadshop. Amazing ways to support the channel, if you can do so. And all of that information is in the description down below. More importantly, everyone, please stay healthy, stay safe, and much love.